it's time for the second episode in our chicken run demonstration series. This episode is all about furnishing your chicken run, what you can put in your run to make your chicken's environment really great for their health and happiness. I'm really excited to get into this episode because setting up your run right with the furnishings is an absolutely essential part of maintaining a happy, healthy flock. It's super important, and I'm really excited to get into showing you all about that today. Before I show you all the different furniture I've got in here and why I've got it in here, I just want to clarify that this is not the coop that I would actually have if this was a fully functioning run that wasn't just a demonstration run. This coop is just here as a placeholder to demonstrate where the coop might be in a run, because this coop is not big enough for 3 to 5 standard chickens. It might be okay if you just wanted to have bantam chickens, but anyway, not big enough, not actually the coop that would be used if the chickens were in here, just for demonstration purposes only. All right, let's have a look at the furniture that I've got in this run. I want to just explain a little bit about what I mean by putting furniture in your chicken run. Well, the whole point of doing that is to help with two things. The first thing is breaking up line of sight. So when your chickens are in here, they are not going to be able to clearly see all the way across the run to perhaps see a friend that they are having a little bit of a tiff with, and they might want to go and bully that chicken. So we're trying to break it up because chickens do lose attention quite quickly. And if they happen to see something else when they were previously planning to go and beat up their friend, they can often just stop and move on to a different activity. So we're going to have a look at breaking up line of sight. And then the other thing is making multi-level surfaces so that your chickens can hop up and hop down from different surfaces, because that's quite important as well for the pecking order, which we will get into. But the first thing we're looking at here is a planter box. So obviously there is nothing in it for the demonstration run, but a planter box of any variety is going to create a nice, firm, solid surface that completely blocks line of sight if there was a chicken on the other side of it. And if you've got a tree or a shrub or just some kind of little something happening in here, it was filled up, it also provides a multi-level surface for your chickens to hop up and hop down from. And then over next to me, we have a rotten log, which is really interesting, and we're going to have a look at that. So here I have just put in a log. It's just a log that's been sitting around for a couple of years, starting to break down. Now, this isn't giving us a huge amount of height. If you wanted to give it some more height, you could prop it up on something. But what I wanted to do here is to give a spot for the chickens to hop up and hang out. They like to sit on things like this and just hang out in the sunshine. And by having it directly on the surface, I am allowing bugs and fungi and things to grow underneath. So all you can do, you just come out and you just turn the log over, and that's going to give your chickens the opportunity to get in and grab those bugs and squish around and have some fun. And then you can just either roll it back into its original spot or just drag it to a slightly new spot. So you're getting some texture on their feet, you're getting some entertainment for them, and it's starting to provide a really good enrichment activity. So that is the log. Nice and simple. If you happen to be going out on a woodland walk and you find a log that's not too far away from where you parked the car, just grab it and take it home. Or you might have something just in your backyard to grab and get. Putting things in to keep chickens happy and entertained is not hard. You just have to look around with that in mind, and I bet you'll find a whole bunch of things just in your own backyard that you can put in to serve this purpose of keeping them entertained and breaking up line of sight. Here we have the classic perch. I showed you this in the first episode of this chicken demonstration run series. Now, perches are really, really important for chicken pecking order shenanigans. So something as simple as just a piece of timber, or it could be a branch that you file down and make sure it doesn't have any sharp bits and put on a couple of logs or bricks. It can be anything. The whole idea is just that we get a bit of elevation. And what a perch is good for is not only does it give your chickens a spot to hop up on and hop down from, which is good for their leg health, gives them some exercise rather than just always being on the ground, not strengthening up their bones. But what it does is it's an absolutely essential part in maintaining the dominance hierarchy of your flock without drama. So what would happen is a hen might be sitting here quite happily minding her own business, and then another hen who might be a bit higher in the pecking order than her will come along and hop up here too and make her jump down. And that might be that the other hen hops up and sort of pecks at her gently, or just generally might just hop up, and the other hen will go, oh yeah, I don't want any part of this, and she'll hop down and go and do something else. Now that's a really simple interaction and you might not think too much about it, but what that is doing is allowing some dominance play to happen between your flocks in a way that is not at all problematic or dangerous. If you don't have situations where your hens can practice bossing each other around, then that's where you can start to get the fights happening, where they're going to pick on another hen, where they're going to trap them in a corner and be really mean to them, or stop them from getting to food and water. But something as simple as a bossy hen having a bossy moment and just kicking another hen off the perch, she feels good about herself. The other hen is just going to give way and off she hops and goes to do something else. Crisis averted, but it's established the pecking order for that little moment and it's all good, no drama. Crisis averted, calm can be restored through a very, very simple interaction. And if you don't have some multi-level structures going on in your run, then you're not providing an environment for those simple interactions to happen, and then those interactions can escalate to where your bossy hen is driving another hen into the corner and being mean to her, or trapping her somewhere, or not letting her get to food or water because she's not getting her ego stroked in simple interactions like this. So absolutely essential to have some multi-level things going on in your run so these interactions can play out. The final thing I'm going to show you today is this fun little pile of sticks and logs, which is a really nice simple thing to do. And what we're doing here, and you can make it as big as you like or as small as you like, it's providing a bit of breaking up of line of sight. It's providing a bit of multi-level and textural things for your chickens to get in and do. And what you can do is you can then just move this pile, just tip it over into a different spot, and there will be bugs in there and fungi and all sorts of stuff, just like the rotting log further over. We're kind of creating the same thing, and this might be a bit easier for you to put together if you can't find a helpful log just laying around. It serves pretty much the same purpose, so really, really good. I love doing stuff like this. Easy things to put in your run. But anything can go into your run when you're thinking about the purpose that you're trying to serve with it, which is entertainment for your chickens, breaking line of sight, and providing a bit of multi-level interaction. So really, so long as it's safe for your chickens, there's not sharp edges or things that they could get their feet or wings trapped in, you can pretty much put in anything you like. But when you're putting your furniture into the run, you do want to think about a few things, and that is how tall you're making it versus how tall your fences are and how close your furnishings are to your fences, because you don't want to create a ladder for your chickens to be able to go hop, hop, and straight out of your run. If you have a fully enclosed run, then that's much less of an issue, and you can kind of go wild with how high that you put things into your run. But if your run is open, then you do want to think about how close and how high your furnishings are, so your chickens can't just hop over the top of your fence. I just want to quickly talk about food and water in a chicken run situation. So I always like to use a watering system that I can see with a glance how much water is in there. So usually I just use these really basic gravity-fed watering systems. They're UV stabilized. I like them. They're easy, and I can see from just by walking by what the water level is in it. I don't have to lift it up to check, is it light, is it heavy? I know how much water is in there, and I always like to have the water raised up. Now, how much you need to raise your water up will depend on how tall your chickens are, because obviously you want them to be able to get to their water comfortably. So this height here is totally fine for my big chickens. If I had smaller chickens, I'd need to find something a bit lower down. And the reason I like it raised up is because when the chickens are scratching around, they're going to scratch into the water and make it disgusting. So that's what I like to do. There are all sorts of different watering systems, and you might have something that works better for your situation. That's what I like to use because it's nice and easy. When it comes to food and feeding in a chicken run, again, there are all sorts of different feeding systems. I use a meal feeding system, which I still would do if I had a smaller run. So all I do is just I feed twice a day on some kind of plate system like this. Now, you want to have at least 2 different feeding spots, depending on the number of chickens that you have. In this run size, which is 21 square meters, I have said you can have between 3 and 5 chickens, depending on if they get some let out time or not. So if you have 5 chickens, I would recommend having 3 feeding spots. And if you have 3 chickens, 2 should probably be fine. But the reason you don't just want to have 1 is because of the whole pecking order situation. One hen might decide that she gets all the food and the other hens don't get a look in. So keep that in mind. Have at least 2 feeding stations, no matter what kind of feeding system that you're using. There are all sorts of different things you can use to break line of sight and provide entertainment for your chickens in your run. You don't have to copy exactly what I've shown you here today. A great thing to use is a compost bin, because you can start to serve a few different functions. You can put a compost bin in. That's going to be a solid structure to break up line of sight, and then you can put your compost in it. Then you can just lift up the whole bin, let the compost come out the bottom, move the bin, the chickens will turn it all over for you, and you can just shovel it back into the compost bin, and your compost will finish much, much faster that way. So that's just a little thing that you can do that I have seen done. Lots and lots of options. The main thing you're wanting to do is when your hen is looking out into the expanse of her run, that she can't just have a clear view of every single spot in the run. So that your hens, if they just want to have some chill time and not be bothered by their friends, they can just pop behind something, pop into something, pop under something, and just chill out. And they don't have the eyes of their friends constantly on them. That's a huge, huge important thing for the health of your flock, for the calm functioning of your flock. And so often I see runs set up that are just an open space with a coop. And that is not meeting the species needs of your chickens, because they come from jungle fowl. They are from environments where they're not big open spaces. It doesn't make them feel safe to be in big open spaces, and it doesn't serve their behavioral needs in terms of their pecking order and just generally getting on with their chickeny lives. So keep in mind, where did your chickens come from? What do they need to be happy? And you will be able to create an amazing run.